Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Chris with the C. Hope you are doing well. Thank you very much for joining me today. Now, many of you guys in the hobby, when you start actually with your RCs, you will go along with the stock handset. Now, I only found sort of halfway into maybe my first year back into the hobby how much I would benefit from using a dedicated handset on all my trucks. I started off using the Flysky GT5 and really liked that handset, and my wife and my daughter went ahead and bought me an upgraded handset, and I've kind of stuck with that from there onwards. Now, in between all this, obviously the channel's got a bit busier, new trucks have started coming in, and I like looking at the technology that's available at the moment. Now, as you know, I've still got some of my handsets on the stock controllers. They're okay. They're all right to get you going. They will allow you to give you certain features like stability control and things like that. But model memory, fine tunability, e.g. endpoints, and getting the car to do what you want it to do isn't something you generally get with a stock handset. Now, Flysky has recently just released the FS-G11P handset, and it did pique my interest, and the reason being, many of the features I had on my higher end handset were already available on this, and I've seen a few people out there on the internet using them, and by all accounts is meant to be good. So as I say, Banggood is sponsoring this video for me, and I want to say a massive thank you for obviously sending over this handset for the purpose of these videos. I will be taking you through the unboxing on the handset, showing you how all the features work. We'll also dive in and show you how to update the handset. And at a later date, on the floor, I'm currently working on a build of my newly refreshed Mojave. We will take the car out, and obviously I'll be able to report back to you how the handset feels while I'm using it. Now, I'm going into this with an open mind. I am very much set on a certain brand that I use on a regular basis. But it is nice to actually look through some of the features of what this handset will offer you. I'm going to put the camera down on the table now. We'll have a quick look. We'll do the unboxing. We'll go through some of the features, and you can make it, hopefully by the end of this video, an informed decision. Come on then, let's dive down. Right guys, so many of you in the hobby will be using handsets like obviously the Spectrum handsets and the TQI handsets from Traxxas, and these are good as a bit of basis to get you going. Obviously they give you some tunability, but the issue is obviously as time goes by, your RC collection may get bigger and you start looking for greater model memory. Now, Traxxas, on the other hand, here obviously does offer some model memory, but unfortunately some of the tunability, unless you're using a Bluetooth link module, can be a bit of a pain in the backside to actually get your car dialed in. Now, Spectrum, on the other hand, their handsets tend to, especially with one like this DX3, have a little bit more to it, and yeah, a lot easier to on deck, on hand, to actually look at, get your car dialed in. Now, the Flysky FS-G11P essentially is a lot like the handset that I use on a regular basis, which is the Radiolink RC8X. The difference is with this though, and what piqued my interest was the actual price point of this handset. Here in the UK, you can pick this up off Banggood, delivered to your house. I think at the moment they're roughly around about 150, 160 pounds. It does use something called the AMP protocol, which is Flysky's own protocol. So obviously you won't be able to go ahead and use different receivers apart from the ones Flysky provide. Now, in the box, you get the handset, and you also get a few little extras, which I'll show you in a moment. The beauty of this handset, though, it does have quite a large model memory. I believe it's 40 on this one. You get all the fine tuning that you would with a higher end handset, even down to things like throttle curves and dual rates and sub trims. Be able to program mixing, should be if you're a crawler or something like that. And one of the things that kind of stuck out to me was obviously this large display they've got on the front of the handset. I quite like being able to see as much information as I can when I'm out running, e.g. telemetry sometimes, and also is the amount of buttons and programmability of the handset that really stood out to me, and the fact that they actually use 18650 batteries. Now, I've got an unlimited supply of these things because I used them for a previous adventure that I partook outside of the channel. Nothing really to show you on the box other than what is in front of you. Obviously you get a little picture of the handset and showing you the display. So let's just quickly unbox it. Inside here, guys, is another box. All right. And I know that doesn't sound very exciting, but some of you, this might be a benefit. And I actually think this is a benefit for some people. You get, and even though it's only a little polystyrene case, you get this polystyrene case to keep your handset in. This will be handy. Obviously, you're heading out to a bash spot. You don't want to put your handset down on the floor, or you could be a racer. You got a little carry case. It's a great way of making sure you keep everything you need in one place. Durability wise of the case, I mean, bearing in mind it is foam polystyrene. So yeah, I mean, as long as you look after it, I suppose it should give you some protection with your handset. Now, opening up, obviously got the two little latches on the side. You open the lid up like so. You're greeted with a box with all the spares and parts and additional things that Flysky have sent over with this handset. And you actually get your handset itself, which, by the way, is really, really nice looking. And we'll go into that in a moment. So moving the box away. All right. Let's just quickly go into the accessories on the handset. So in here you will get your FS-R11P. Now this is a 11 channel receiver, guys. Yeah, 11 channels on this one, and all of them work. All of them you can function to different features. It does come with some telemetry modules there as well. Single aerial, and as I say, this works on the ANT protocol. Binding, very simple thing to do. No little button. There is a bind button. I'll show you that in a moment. You also get this grab handle, this aluminium grab handle, nice machined handle. We will be putting that on the handset. You also get your data cable, a USB Type-C to USB. You also get an additional grip. Now, feel of the handset, actually that is about right for me. But this one, I believe, is a little bit thicker. So if you've got bigger hands, obviously you can space out the back of the handset, make it more ergonomic for you to actually be comfortable when you're using the handset. In here as well, you also get some springs for the steering wheel. You get a soft, and you also get a hard. I believe there's a medium strength spring on the wheel at the moment. You also get some grub screws. Now, these are for your trigger tension here. Obviously, this is all, again, you can actually change the strength and the feel. Again, to give you a better throttle response. I do like quite a firm trigger when I'm using my handset. I like to be able to progressively wind the power on. So it's great that, obviously, this handset will give you, obviously, you can fine-tune your steering wheel and obviously the trigger as well. You also get a screen protector. Again, I would recommend you fitting that on. It will stop any damage to your screen. It does come with this little film on there, but definitely installing we do it on our mobile phones or cell phones for you guys in America. So yeah, definitely worth installing. And you get the instruction booklet, which we will look at in some detail later on. Moving on to the handset, let's just move all this away. So the handset itself is a right-handed handset. Okay, even though it actually looks like here that you can maneuver this steering wheel to that side, underneath here, guys, is actually an SD card slot. So it is right hand only, but you get lots and lots of buttons on the handset. Every single button you see, trigger, whether it be a slider or a three-way switch. You've got the in-out button here. Obviously, everything is programmable and user-defined, I think is the best word. Really large colour display on the front of it. You've got your dial there, obviously, for manoeuvring around in the menus. You've got some more programmable buttons on the left and the right hand side, and your power button. There is a space there for a lanyard to go on as well, again in aluminium, and it matches obviously your grab handle. You've got a nice machined edge going on there as well. In the bottom of the handset, as I mentioned, you will be using 18650 batteries. So I've charged these up overnight, obviously, to turn the handset on to show you guys. Popping that in. Oh, by the way, guys, one other thing. You can use a 2S LiPo in here. That is done by disconnecting this connector here and actually attaching a 2S LiPo in that slot. So just pushing the 18650 batteries in. By the way, these are Moly cell batteries. I actually used these previously for some vaping equipment because I am an ex-smoker. But what I like about these, they're plentiful on the internet. You could probably pick up two 18650 batteries with a charger right now on Amazon. If you go onto Amazon, I'd imagine for probably around 10 to 15 pounds, and that will be more than enough for you. The beauty of this handset as well, guys, is you can charge it via the USB port. So you won't really essentially need to take the batteries out. There is a USB here. As you can see, there is a little microphone port in there as well, and obviously your USB. So there, should you want your telemetry being played through yours or any warnings, you can do. But yeah, USB is there. So closing that down. Again, that is a feature that you see on most higher end handsets. Many nitro racers will have sort of warnings going off in the ear while they're racing, e.g. it could be temperature, it could be batteries on the receiver, you know, or even down as far as maybe something like, for example then, you can have a warning when the handset goes out of range. Obviously you get alerted so you know when to stop. They've got a really nice kind of carbon faux handle here. It's more like a rubberized texture, but it does look a lot like a carbon sort of sleeve going over the handset. Really kind of nice looking. There is a little bit of weight to this, obviously, with the 18650s in, and I like that because there's nothing worse than having a handset that actually feels light, in my opinion. I'm not talking, you know, kilos and kilos of handset. What I am talking about, it does give you some kind of tactile weight to it, where you pick the handset up and you know you've got it, and that is something that I've kind of learned over a period of time, especially when I was racing. I kind of like to have a bit of weight there, so I know the handset's in my hand. Right, turning the handset on, you have an on button by here. Obviously you hold that down. You get a nice big screen display. Obviously, there is a bit of music in the background as well. Failsafe is not set up. Do you need to set it? Let's put no for now. Now, the reason why I'm doing this, okay. Oh, no, sorry. It's not touchscreen. There you go. Really awesome, lovely colour display there. And I will say that is actually really, really clear and nice. I really like the display. You've got your handset battery. Obviously, there you would have your receiver battery levels, so e.g., especially applicable to someone using like a Nitro or something like that. You've got your model memory, vibrate function. Obviously, Flysky, you've got your voltage that your batteries are sat at the moment there. Obviously, on the screen as well, as you can see, everything is in real time. So as you press the throttle or turn the steering wheel, it also gives you your steering trim and your throttle trim. You've got a timer function, your dual rate, your steering rate, throttle rate, and brake rate, all on the screen. Now, pressing upwards, it will give you a full list of all the channels available to you. So, for example, to go back down, all you got to do, we don't want to enter test mode. Let's click no. So click the power button, that will take you back to the main screen. Pressing up on the wheel there. Whoop, no, go back. So if you press up, there you go. So you get all the channels. Now, again, if you're into your crawling, or maybe if you're into your racing, you want to know, Nitro guys as well, what channel is doing what and when it's doing it. This screen here would be quite important to you. There is a test feature up here, and I will warn you guys, I did watch Harley Design's video last night because I wanted to kind of brief myself on the handset a little bit. Don't click on that, especially if you're using a battery powered car, because that test feature, let me just show you. You want to enter test mode, yes. So if we click on yes, watch the screen. It goes from 0 to 100, all right? and then back down to 100 the other way. So bearing in mind, if you've got a battery in your car, the car is basically going to go off on its own. So yeah, don't do that. That would only be applicable, I suppose, if the car is jacked up on a stand. Let's say we've got a stand like this, your car is sat there, your wheels are not touching the floor, and you wanted to test out your servos or your channels. Don't put it on the floor with batteries in, because the car, quite honestly, will disappear down the road. That is a feature I'm a little bit unsure about. I mean, essentially, it's nice to have it there, but I can see a lot of people actually getting into trouble with that. So let's go back to the main menu. Right, now, to get into all your features, you press down on the D-pad here. So you've got your basic sets. Basic sets would refer to things like, obviously, reversing your channels, your EPA, your sub-trim, your dual rate, your throttle curve, steering curve, channel speed, ABS, idle up. And there is a lot of features. As you can see, just moving up. What else we got? We've got throttle lock, cruise control. That's obviously, if you're a crawler, that might be a great idea, especially if you're someone who's into maybe like going for long walks with your cars. You can just cruise control and let your car kind of trundle along. Throttle type, let's have a quick look in there. So we got, I'm not sure what that is, I'm not going to lie to you. So let's kind of work my way up to the top. And as you can hear, the handset is beeping in the background as well. So you do get an audible tone knowing you're moving through the menus. So channel reverse, if you click on that, as you can see, at the moment, they're all set to normal. Sometimes when you put a motor in a car, obviously it can be the wrong way around, or your servo might be back to front. Very easy. Click in there, press once. That, as you can see, it'll start flashing. So you can go up, down, or there you go, normal, reverse. Let's put it back to normal for now. Back with a button. Obviously this acts, your power button acts as a back button at the same time. Now I will say this is quite an improvement. Now when I first started the channel, my first upgraded handset was a Flysky GT5. Really liked that handset, and I found that quite easy to use, and they brought out a different handset. Now this is a predecessor to the GP7 handset. So obviously, sorry, this isn't a predecessor, this is a follow-on from the GP7. What they've gone and done is basically kind of reinvented that line of handset, and it's really, really nice looking, to be fair. The other thing I've just noticed, you do get these LEDs. I'll be interested to see if you can kind of change colour with that. Moving back, we've got auxiliary channels. So again, now in here, if we click in there, so we've got channel 3. You can select the pre-installed. You can define, let's say, channel 3. You've got, and in all fairness to Flysky, what they've done here is actually giving you some pre-installed options. So you can name your channel. So it could be steering, throttle, trim tab, auxiliary setting, front diff, rear diff, center diff. So again, I suppose this would apply to cars with dual gears. Gearbox, T-case, shift, again, cut gear, lights. You've got lights, low beam, high beam. There is absolutely tons in here. Smoke, whistle, I suppose, if you're someone who's got like, I don't know, I'm trying to think, maybe like a boat or something like that. Capstan, I'm unsure what capstan actually means, to be quite honest with you. So coming back out of that, let's go back. We haven't changed any defaults there. Assigning your buttons. Now, around the handset, guys, okay, what you've got here is a series of buttons, and they're all clearly labeled in this like kind of glossy look. The camera might not show it, and what I'll do is I will do a close-up of this in a moment for you and go through a little bit better. So for example, SW4 is a three-way switch there. You've got a central position and back and forward. VR2 is actually a little bit like, and I could see this actually being quite popular with the crawling crowd. You know, someone to have just like a dedicated four-wheel steer, maybe just isn't pre-programmed. You could actually control it yourself. TR4 is just a two-way switch. K7 is just a press switch. SW1 is obviously pressing inside and out. K5 and VR1. Now, VR1 essentially is your, obviously, a little bit like how I'd have my gyro setup on this handset. Obviously, I control my gyro via this switch here. So you could do exactly the same there. And also, you can press it there to have another feature. You've got a button underneath, like a singular switch there. Your TR function, so obviously your throttle trim, your steering trim, so on and so forth, all predefined. And you've got two 3-way switches on the side of the handset there. The trigger, so looking at it there, guys, there's none on the left-hand side. So therefore, obviously, they've set this up singly for right-handed use, because normally you would have it on both sides if it was available for you to use. The feel of the steering wheel is really, really nice. I will say there is a nice amount of tension. The wheel doesn't feel cheap and the foam is good. So ergonomically, when you're holding it, it does feel really, really nice. Let's come back out. Next, you've got your mixes. So your mixes would be, e.g., especially someone like crawling or maybe even like track with a tank. Again, they do have some predefined. You've got 4-wheel steer, track mix, drive mix, brake mix, and then your own programming. So they actually give you 8 different So you got 4 predefined. Let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. And then further on from 4 onwards up to 8. So it looks like you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, you actually have 8 sections where you can actually go in and program it yourself. So that is pretty cool. Timers. Now, look, some people won't actually use a timer. Me personally, lately, I have actually been wanting to use a timer. I've got one set up on my Radiolink handset, and this would be quite good if you're racing or if you're, you want to kind of beat your own time around a predefined track. Definitely really handy to have. You can also set up an alarm on there as well. So obviously, let's go. Let's have a look. TH on. Again, all this is programmable, so you can select up or down, so you could count down or count upwards. TH on or off. So that is literally when you hit the throttle. And it actually, on this one, gives you a function. So you have got to click. Let's have a look. Stop. So your stop button, I'm hoping. Let's have a look. EW. Off. No. Reset. Alarm.
Reset timer.
Yeah, actually, it does. It gives you an audible starting the timer feature, and also when you stop and when you reset. So that's nice. Sensors. Now, I don't personally use a lot of sensors, especially for bashing. Guys, if you're enjoying the content here on Chris with a C, consider subscribing, hit the notification bell, and yeah, enjoy more content that's coming up. It costs you nothing, it means the world to me. But I can understand why a lot of people would. Now, this could be for example, like heat, temperature, or maybe a sensor towards, you might have some sort of GPS setup on your handset, e.g. So signal or altitude, again, another thing you could have. Nice that they're all in there. It isn't essentially something that I would use. I have got nitro cars that I might possibly go ahead and set up a sensor with that. Models. So you can select your models here. As you can see, let's go all the way down to the bottom. You've got 40 models. So again, these are all for, the only thing I will say here, it would have been nice if you could add a memory card in there and then also have more model memory. 40 will probably be all right for most, but it's always nice to have more. So therefore, this handset will last longer. You won't have to go out and buy another one. So 40 is a good start. Don't get me wrong. But maybe via a memory card, being able to have an additional however many, and based upon the size of your memory card, would be a good thing. Let's go back to the menu. RX set. Now RX set EG is where you bind. You can set up iBus, your ESC, your fail safes. System is obviously your setup. So when you click setup there, you got battery type. So I'm going to click on, mine isn't a battery type, it's an 18650. Your backlight is 50%. So let's turn it all the way up. 100% is really bright actually. Backlight delay. So obviously that would idle alarm when your handset is idle. Whoop, no, let's go back in. Auto off, your home button, your sensors, your light setup. So we want to change the light on you. So we could go green, red, battery indicator, which is actually really handy. And close. You've got dazzle, which by the looks on things changes colour. Purple, cyan. Yeah, so I'm going to change mine to battery indicator, might be a good one. And you've got light down. System alarm sounds, obviously that's a good one as well. Vibration, units, metric, so e.g. you can set that to metric or imperial. I'm going to leave mine on metric. You can also temperatures. So yeah, tons of features there. Stick calibration, we've got firmware updates. By the way, yeah, all firmware upgradable, this handset, guys. So that is definitely a good thing. And I will show you how to upgrade the handset in a moment. Factory reset. Help, so on you does have a help feature. It gives you a manual. You scan the QR code there and that will take you straight to the manual, so that's really cool. The official website, Facebook, YouTube, X, and then SVC. So what SVC is, guys, if you think of Traxxas as TQI, obviously they've got the stability management there. Spectrum as AVC. On my Radiolink here, it has just a basic, just a gyro is what they call it. So on a Flysky handset, guys, SVC is your stability control. Now, as you can see, I haven't got the receiver set up a second, so obviously I can't enable that feature. But again, I will do. The idea is, by the way, all right, while we're here, is I'm going to test this handset out. I'm currently in the middle of building and upgrading my Mojave 6S with a bunch of M2C parts and other trick parts that I've added. So the idea is this handset will be teamed up with this, and I'll be testing the handset on this truck. So that is coming very, very soon. Now, I won't be doing a running feature in this video of the handset, but further down the line, you will be able to see that, and I will obviously let you guys know. And then you got your beginner feature, which essentially would be a good idea if you want to hand the handset to someone who's never used a dedicated handset, doesn't want all the features on there, just wants a basic use of the handset. But you can also set up your steering restrictions and your throttle restrictions. So let's say we go on throttle. Throttle is on. And then let's have a look. So throttle restrictions off. If we go, timer start. There you go. So that is actually set up there. And let's turn that back on. We don't want to use there, on. Right, and then we want to set throttle restrictions are on. And then you can, as you can see, it actually only giving you 25%. If we turn that off, there, you actually get your full range of your handset. So yeah, that's cool that it's on there. You could give it to maybe like a loved one or a youngster and just say, yeah, you knock yourself out. I've turned it down for you. Really nice to have. Tons of features. Actually, let's stop the timer, shall we? I do need to set that up for... let's go down. Reset. Right, and then I'm going to turn the throttle off, because otherwise every time I hit the throttle the timer is going to go off. Now, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to set the camera up now. Obviously that has been recording for a little while. I think we're about 26 minutes in. Lots and lots of information in here. I'm going to set up the camera now. I'll show you the screen quickly one more time and few more close-ups. But we are going to show you how to update the handset as well. Right, okay, so this is the contents of the box, guys, as you can see. I know I have mentioned this obviously earlier on. We're going to install quickly this little handle here on the handset. As you can see, really nicely machined. I do like the look of that. It's nice that obviously they've added something like this, and this little feature is something that you probably will get with a higher end handset, obviously a grab handle. Not many people use them. I will say it is something I probably will use. Now, easy to install. Obviously you get a 2.5mm hex driver, like so, and literally just remove these screws. And what you got to think of, it actually offers you a little bit of protection at the same time. So, take the screws out. And like so. Underneath here is your memory card slot. And there is actually space for you to fit a memory card in. So I might give that a go. And then obviously this handle goes on with your 2.5mm hexes, like that, and then just tighten it up. No need to wrench down too hard on these, obviously. Now what I'll do in a moment is I'll show you the receiver as well. The good thing is with Flysky that you can actually update the receivers as well, guys. So they not only do they change the firmware on the handset. By the way, there is an update for this which I've downloaded. They actually offer, so there you go, there's the grab handle, guys. Very nice. Nice that that's in there. Obviously keep hold of that, then pop it back in your bag. Now moving on to, let's turn the handset off a sec. Shutting down. Nice that they give you audible on and off as well. In the receiver bag, there you go, is your FS-R11P. Now as you can see, all the way down the side of here is your 11 channels. And then obviously they're all labelled. Servo, you get a little LED for your indication, all on the AMP protocol. Your bind button is here. Single aerial with a bit of sheathing on the end, obviously to keep it safe. It is relatively big. I wouldn't say it's just a small receiver, guys. But yeah, I mean, that will probably fit in most of my vehicles, that. VCC, you got your BVD and then your bind. So obviously you can bind using a plug. And also then you get your telemetry modules here. So your BVD port. So that is that. Moving on as well, as I mentioned, closer up, these are the springs. So obviously you've got different tensions. I might swap over to the hard spring and I might strengthen up the trigger. It doesn't actually feel too bad, to be quite honest with you, mind. Now, there's the grip, obviously, for changing up the feel of the handset. You've got your instruction manual. Little bit of an overview of the handset. Obviously, indicators, what the ambient lights are for. SD card slot, powering on. Set up your stick calibration. How to update your firmware. Little bit about the protocols itself, what you can actually use. So input between 6 and 9 volts, 18650, 2 pieces or a 2S LiPo. Distance no less than 300 ground meters, so it takes you up to 300, whereas obviously this handset was 600. The Flysky will allow you up to 300 meters, which again still isn't bad. I mean, 300 meters away is a fair bit. Temperature ranges, color, you know, all the information you're going to need in there. And then I'd imagine it's going to give you, yeah, different languages. So that, keep hold of manuals. Manuals are important. You'd be surprised how many times I've had to resort back to a manual just to get the information I need. What I'm going to do now is set the laptop up on the table. I will show you how to update the firmware and we'll go from there. Right guys, okay, so on this section here I'm going to show you how to update the Flysky FS-G11P. Though the good thing is obviously this is kept up to date by the looks on things. So you will need to go to the Flysky website. So the website address is flysky/cn.com. On there you'll need to go to products, then you go down to surface, then you select the FS-G11P. Over to downloads and upgrade, and in here you will find your firmware, you'll find your user manual, your Flysky Assistant for Windows and Mac. Now, while we're on this note, I have found that the Flysky Assistant at the moment is playing me up a little bit. Now I'm going to show you a little something I had to work out for myself. Just to give props to a YouTuber is Craig from WTF Cars. Does a lot of information on Flysky handsets, and if you want to have a little look a little bit more in depth about certain upgrades and so on and so forth, head over to him. The other thing is here guys, is the workaround I've kind of worked out was basically, and I'll show you now. So I have installed in the meantime and downloaded the Flysky Assistant. So obviously that'll start up. You will need to turn power on your handset, like so. Obviously we haven't set a failsafe or anything like that yet, so we're going to click no. You will need to connect your USB cable to your laptop and a USB Type-C into the front of the handset. Oh no. Now the funny thing is here is obviously the rubber bung we mentioned. Plug it in there like so. As you can see, the handset is found. Now, that section there that looks like a little robot with ears poking out is obviously where you normally update your handset. Number one, it is reporting the wrong firmware. All right, this is a bug by the looks on things with this app. Number two, when you click firmware update, all right, it'll ask you to update. Now, you give it the option to backup or update. You can click on update. All right, and in here what you can do then is click download instructions or click continue. Select the firmware first. So the other option you've got here is this, is we're going to import, let's go to update. We want to import a model file. So the model file essentially is the download they give you, which doesn't appear in your download. So this is the issue I was having earlier on. So you can try an update, but it won't actually allow you to do so. So if I close that down, we need to now go to the handset. Go to the menu. Go to System. Go to TX Firmware Update. Okay. And then it'll give you a warning about resetting your models. Click Yes. Comes up with do not operate the remote control while during the firmware update. We're now going to head over to our downloads, where, as you'll see, I have actually downloaded the update that's available. We're going to click on that, and it's already found the handset, all right, because essentially the handset is now in update mode there, as you can see. Now the other way of doing this, initially I thought to myself, well, what about if we click on Flysky Assistant, while it's in update mode here, as you can see, it's detected the handset, no problems there. Update firmware, update, continue. Again, it's trying to tell us to go and find the file we need. We can try and load model. We're going to downloads, again, still not there. So this way, the workaround that I thought about was this. It is an exe file. So by clicking on there, obviously that will run the update, as you can see. So we got software version. I have already updated this, but I'm going to show you for the purpose of this video. 1.2.20, and the hardware version is being reported as 1.0. But yet, if you go to the handset, it's actually showing as 1.1. So click update. Now I'm going to, as you can see, it's erasing the flash. Now what that essentially means is erasing the current firmware, all right, which is being flashed to the handset. I'm going to leave this in real time for you so you can actually see for yourself, because some people might actually come to a point here and you think, well, it's not progressing very fast, and you might think that this, you know, the software has stopped working or the handset stopped working. Do not at any point disconnect your handset. Make sure your computer is connected to a power source. We are up to 26% now. But it's important that you don't disconnect your handset from the computer, and make sure you've got plenty of battery life on your computer at the same time. So this is now flashing the firmware that we've downloaded. As you can see, we're up to 37%. And what this essentially does, if you think of this as a computer, guys, like your computer would get the firmware update, e.g. software updates on the computer via Windows. Essentially what we are doing is exactly the same thing. Any bugs, any fixes, any issues or compatibility issues with the handset and any receivers will be fixed. There might be some tuning done on, let's say, the way the linear feel of the steering wheel or the throttle. There could be, for example, new features added. So it is quite important that you keep your handsets up to date. So now and again, periodically, just come back, check on the website to see if there is a newer version of what you currently have. We are up to 73% now, as it is flying through quite nicely, no problems at all. 77, 78. And again, don't disconnect anything. Really important, guys, really important. I can't emphasize that anymore if I wanted to. 85%. We're nearly there, guys. And we're up to 90. So only a 10% left. It's verified, as you can see, it's jumped straight to it. The handset is now started. And we're back to the main screen. So if you want to check what firmware version you're on, go to System. Go to About FS11. And as you can see, firmware version 1.2.20 and hardware version is 1.1. Obviously the RF is 3.0.0 and the date of the update. So that is absolutely awesome. So the handset is now up to date. I hope that little tutorial helped you, and fingers crossed, obviously you can use that just to make sure that your handset is improved over a period of time. Right guys, okay, so yeah, FS-G11P. Really nice looking handset, this one, and very feature packed for the money. I love obviously the fact that you've got so much tunability when it comes to your switches. Obviously all this is fully programmable. Lovely nice big bright display there, as you can see. I think this will actually go down really well with many of us, because obviously this is like a nice step between like a high-end handset where if you're kind of moving away from, as we mentioned, like the stock handsets, and you want something a little bit more, this is definitely a good idea. Now, as I say, it is a little bit expensive for some people, but if you can think about your hobby and where you're going to progress, if you're someone who's going to progress through the hobby and have multiple cars, multiple models, and you want some tunability to your vehicles on the go, and basically with a nice easy to read display, it does offer a lot of value for money. And when you consider the cost of this as opposed to this handset when I bought it, it's quite substantial actually, the feature set of this handset. Now, I'm not going to bond it up in front of you. The idea is I'm going to give you an overview today, and it has been a long video. So I want to kind of sew this up and obviously just kind of give you a quick overview of what the handset does. I'm really impressed with what I'm seeing, and to be quite frank, it feels a lot more expensive. I had to hold this behind my back. It does feel a lot more expensive than what a handset at this price range should feel like, in my opinion. So top marks to Flysky for that. And in fact, I actually prefer the feel of this over the Noble MB4. Now, I'm not saying that the MB4 is a worse handset. probably not, guys. I mean, the MB4 is very much a staple for many people. But yeah, if you're going to buy into the Flysky platform, this might be the one for you. I will put links in the description to where you can obviously pick this up. As I say, there is a sale on at the moment, a flash sale, where you can get a little bit of a discount on the handset. But overall, very, very impressed, and I think it offers a great upgrade for many, many people. Any downsides to it? Well, as I mentioned, I will say I wasn't overly impressed with the Flysky Assistant. I did find that a little bit buggy for me to use, and it wasn't straightforward. It took a little bit of working out. We did manage to get there in the end. The other thing is as well, what I would have liked to have seen in, obviously, the handset is, for example, in a sign, maybe like an overview, okay? So when you're scrolling through it, you get like some sort of speech bubble or something, just telling you what each function does. So obviously, instead of having to look at the manual, I think it'd be a great idea if there was some way baked into the handset that as you hover over, it gives you a brief overview of what it is, and then you know straight away, instead of trawling through menus. On the other hand, I will say subjectively, the menu is quite easy to use. It does offer a lot of information on the screen in one go, and this jog dial here is very easy to navigate your way around. So yeah, feature packed, very decent for the money. Let's go up top and we'll finish this off. Right guys, okay, so welcome back. The Flysky FS-G11P, what do I think of it? Well, to be honest with you, money-wise, it's a very feature-rich handset and offers many, many features some high-end handsets offer. Now, is it essentially something that's going to get me out my Radiolink handset? Time will have to tell on that one. Obviously, I'm not going to say yes, I'm not going to say no. I am being completely subjective about this. What I do like about this one is how bright and cheerful that screen is. It's really, really nice display on this. The handset feels very sturdy. Now, as time goes by, what I'm going to have to do is... real world performance is the test here. As I say, we are going to be putting it into the Mojave build, as you can see down below on the floor. As time, I might pick up some more Flysky receivers, and as I'm learning about the handset, I will continue to update this on the channel, guys, okay? So it's not something I'm going to give up on. It's not a one and done scenario. I want to make sure that I'm giving this the best attention I can, because handsets, despite all the cars you may buy, handsets are very important. It's the piece of equipment that connects you with your vehicle. And, you know, that is a key thing there, is you can have the most amazing truck out there. You know, you spend thousands of pounds. But if your radio equipment isn't up to the job, well, you're going to have a bad time. And I've kind of settled into a kind of ecosystem with my Radiolinks. It would be nice to know that there's another handset out there for a little bit less that you guys at home can actually pick up, use, and have a great time using it. So I will keep testing, I will keep updating as firmware upgrades become available. It's not something I'm going to get rid of. I will keep this handset in my fleet, attached to a few vehicles, so time after time I can take the handset out and get used to how it is. I want to be completely honest with you and try to tell you the pros and the cons, so you guys at home can actually make your mind up straight away. You can watch the video and then think, yeah, actually this might be for me. I want to say a huge thank you to the guys at Banggood. As I say, there will be a link in description where you can go and look and obviously go and pick up. Now, just to let you know, guys, it will be an affiliate link. I am affiliated with Banggood. It doesn't cost you any different other than the fact that clicking on it is completely free, and the channel, it does actually help support the channel. So let's get that clear. I want people out there to know that. But obviously your support by clicking that is greatly appreciated. I hope you enjoyed this overlook. It is a longer video. I felt it needed to be a longer video because there's so much going on with this handset. I will say, the more I'm holding this, the more I realise actually this is very comfortable, to be honest with you. So yeah, I'm glad I've actually got one in the fleet. Guys, Huge thank you for watching all the videos. All like, shares and subscribes go on the channel is absolutely amazing. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button. Till next time, check the box for more videos. Stay awesome. I'll catch you later.